So 417, I have a regular white tile today. I've got my pen pencil Tortillon and I do have my watercolour pencils with me. I'm going to come in with my pencil and I just want to do a few little guidelines just to sort of get us started. So I'm going to come in with a curve from one diagonal corner to the other. And again, if you want to do it that way, it's fine. It doesn't matter, whatever's right for you. So, okay, I'm going to do a line again, kind of close to that. No more than ½ centimetre, and then another one next to that, like that. And same thing on the other side. So a couple of lines to work with here. One there, look, and one there. Okay. So it looks like sort of a part of a rainbow. It's just there as guide. Okay, next little bit then. I'm going to come in with pen, and let's just zoom in a little bit. So I'm going to focus, I'm going to start off in the middle of the tile and I'm going to focus around, there's my middle line, there, and I'm going to create a little sort of leaf shape, you know, with the curves from one side to the other, okay? Not too big. And then I'm going to leave a bit of a gap and I'm going to do the same again, like that. And then another, that's going to get part of this on. It's going off the edge there. And the same here. So leave a gap on there. And I'm probably going to get another one in that top edge. From about there, look. There. And along to there. So I've actually got, let's have a look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with a little bit of a space in between. So our next little thing then, what I'd like to do is I'm going to come sort of, have a look now. I'm going to come off one of these lines. So I'm going to sort of come up, look. A little curl. And the next one, up. And a little curl. And up. Little curl, up, little curl. I'm not going to do that one because it's sort of going to go off on my table, which we're not going to do. But I'm going to bring it down and do similar this side. Look, that's why we've got those lines in place, because I'm using them as a guide to help me stop where sort of in a consistent line. Okay. So we've got that going on. Next one, let's have a focus on this little curve here, because what I want to do, I'm going to come underneath it. Okay, so curl it in. I'm going to come around and down to that line. So here we go, look. Around and down to that line. And around down to that line. See, I'm just sort of making it a little bit more of a curl in the middle if it needs to be there as I'm going. You can make your mind up if you want to leave it. Again, not putting one here because I can't see it. All right. So let's turn it over. And a similar thing. See, I didn't do much of a curl there, so I'm going to come in and make it more of a curl. And then see I'm coming around and down to the line. Curl around and down to the line. So now, because I'm talking, Benji thinks I'm talking to him, so he's woke from his slumber to there. So I take another, it doesn't matter where, I'm going to start here. I'm going to create a curve and then I'm going to come back with a curve. But I want it to sort of almost touch there, or touch if you can, see? Curve. And curve, curve, and curve. Same again. So you've got to consider what size sort of little leaf shapes you're going to do there, because ideally they need to touch or practically touch. Let's do the same on this side then. So, okay. I see here I've gone down a bit too far. That doesn't matter. I'm going to pretend I didn't do it and do the same thing. curve, 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 and curve. See that one? I'm going to imagine where it's going, bring it back down. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to join this one to this one, like that, like that. So if they're a bit close, you can come out, like so, and join them. And then the same on the other side, so I can turn around and along there, see? Join that one, join that one, and that. But I'm going to sort of start here, and I've got this line coming on the left. And what I want to do is I'm going to follow it. It's going to go underneath, and I'm going to bring it there. You see? Underneath, and bring it there. So the same again. Look, there's my line underneath. Bring it there. Same again. Look, there's my line. See, there's my line, under there. There's my line, under there. Okay, so if I turn it round, so we've got a similar thing here this time, but I'm going to come on the outer edge, see, and it's back in there, outer edge, outer edge, and around that one. Okay, so look at that. It's a little bit of an unusual shape, isn't it? Okay, so let's come back to these little leaf shapes. Well, it does look a little bit musical, doesn't it? I'm going to put a curl on the end, like that. Curl on the end, curl on the end. Okay. I'm going to turn it round. Same again. Curl on the end. And a curl. And a curl. And a curl. Okay. I want to create a shape within it. There you go. So depending on sort of what shape curls you've just put in, it might depend on what kind of shape this turns out to be. You know, and if this is a little bit narrow, then yours might be as well. It's okay, they're going to be a little bit different. So then, looking at this space here, I can actually take my line in and under. So it looks like it's joining. See? In and under. In and under. So I'm putting my lines, let's go a bit bigger, look, on the inside there. Okay, and now if it doesn't match exactly, don't worry about it. It's quite sort of moves. So it looks like that one, see, is going underneath that one. All right, and just to sort of reinforce that, I'm going to come in with a little row of dotted lines and take it through that whole sort of shape. Okay. All right. And then the same here. Taking it through and under there. Well, I know this one's a little bit of a challenge today, but sometimes it's nice to do that, and you know, you have to come back and watch it again and slow and pause it. But every single step, just take your time with it, and it's very repetitive, but it starts to look a little bit more complex the more you add to it. Okay, so let's have a look now. We've got these lovely little V shapes that have formed here. So what I want to do with that one, I'm not going to do a loop in the middle today. I'm going to come up and do one like a triangle that side. And one like a triangle that side. You see I've left a little gap in the middle there. And let's have a little line and a dot. Okay, so let's go in a little bit more so you can see that again. So up and form a funny sort of triangle, and there, leaving a little gap in the middle. line and a dot, line and a dot. Same again. Here we go. And again, line and a dot, line and a dot. And the last one, up and along and along. This would make a lovely border, wouldn't it, around a card. Okay, so let's turn it round. And again, we've got these little V shapes, up and again, sort of triangle-ish. Mine sort of ended up a bit more like a loop there, but let's go for it this time. Okay. And that one. And up. And up. And I could still get part of one in there, look. It still looks. I'm going to remove those lines because I don't really need them. As long as your pen's dry, or your ink's dry on the page. I don't want it smudging all over the place. So there you go. It's like we never had any construction lines at all. All right. I think it started from 5 lines. It's crazy, isn't it? Okay. So next little bit then, I want to do is create a shape around it, but I'm also going to come in and I want to put myself sort of a little border as well. So here we go. I'm going to use a tile for this. And I'm going to put this line in first, and this one. Now you see that I've left, here we go, a little bit of a gap because I'm going to come around the shape like so. Now, we have done a couple of following around the shapes, but this time you notice that I'm not really curving them. I am actually following, putting those points in. Just gives it a slightly different feel. And along we go, you see? And then when it gets to the end, it's going to join with that bit there. Okay. So the next one, let's put this one in. So again, look, I'm doing the outer edge first. Oh, Rose, this is a green from the regular tiles and postcards now set. It comes with, you know, that one's the one with the blue as well, isn't it? And it's got the sort of the charcoal-y kind of colour in it, and like a tan colour, isn't it? So it's not. I have a selection, as you can imagine. I think actually at some point we will do a postcard, I reckon, just as a little bit of a change. Just because it's a bit bigger though, it'll take a little bit longer. So I reckon for one of our next anniversary kind of tiles, we might do a postcard. Okay, you see, following the shape, keeping it going. Not worrying about what's been or gone, it's just about what's there and what we're drawing around. A bit different. I'm going to put this shape here. So if you feel that you need to put a line in to help you with that, you know, you can sort of, here we go, gauge sort of at what angle you're going to be doing it, and then put it in. Like that. And the same at the top, look. And perhaps it's a little bit narrower, but it's the same sort of thing. So we've done this little bit. I want to come around now and create sort of a shape off of that. You know, like we've got this sort of line going around here. I'm putting one around there as well. Not too wide. It's just sort of doing a little bit of an echo, isn't it? Or an aura from what we did before. And then I'm going to put those little dot dash lines in. Now, if you can't do that, if yours is a bit too thin, don't worry about it. Not a problem. It's sort of going up the middle of mine anyway because it is kind of narrow. So along we go. Okay. So looking at this first one, I'm going to sort of come in now and put myself a part curl. See, I'm stopping it there. And let's go in a bit. Because then I'm going to come back, sort of pointed both ends, you see? Let's do the same on this one. Pointed both ends. So then I want to put in another one along this edge. See, it's facing the opposite direction now. And then this one, again, along here. Oh, hi Louise. And I'm going to come in, put one in here. Now, if yours is different to mine, don't worry about it. It's sort of more of a design rather than something that's got to look exactly right. So, not to worry. Let's get one in here. See, I can fit one there, look. And one there. And then here. So I'm sort of looking for spaces. It's kind of systematic. See there, I can't get one in there like I did there, but that's okay. I'm gonna put one in this corner here. I'm not gonna completely fill the space, but I'm gonna get quite a few in. Okay, because then I've formed lots of these little V shapes, haven't I? I'm going to come in and I've got to make a decision here. I'm going to go that way. And that way because I can't get two in there. And I'm not trying to make it symmetrical particularly. So I'm happy with that. And then let's put those two sort of petal shapes in. And anywhere you can find a V, you're going to put those shapes in. See that one there? Remember, from the middle, one either side. Let's go with this one. And then little dots, lines and dots. So there we can have a part one. You see a bit of it. There's another one. So you have to sort of hunt for them now because they'll try and hide. So I'm going to start in the same manner. I'm going to put that shape in that side and that shape in that side. Let's get rid of that. That's a line. But then I'm not going to look at the other side. I'm going to add a few of these shapes in just so it suits me. All the same, facing different directions. So let's go for one there. And again, it doesn't have to be symmetrical. I've started off kind of that way. See there, I think I'm going to put one of those in there. It's not about filling the whole space. It's about putting something that's got a bit of interest in. So I'm going to come across now this side, only this side, and again, put that line following the shape. So, you know, if you have to stop, you have to stop. See, I can probably, which we don't normally do, go around there. Now there, look, it's going to go underneath. And just keep it going until I get to the end. You see, so I've followed all the way around. I've even gone under there. Not that one though, see, there's not much of a gap. And let's do the same on this one. So again, I might as well come around that bit. Follow the shape as much as I can. See, I can't really get into there, so I'm not going to try. And all the way around to get to the end. Okay. So I'm going to bring in a little bit of normal pencil first, and then I'm going to bring in a bit of a watercolour pencil. So let's have a look. I want to watercolour this main bit in the middle here. So let's work on these side sections. I'm going to do that as well. And first things first, I'm going to, come on here. I know, Kathy, they do, don't they? They just sort of grow. Before you know it, you've got something quite remarkable. It's really nice. So I'm going to do all the way around that shape that I've formed there. Okay. You see, it's sort of, again, just sort of work your way around them. If it goes over that bit, it doesn't matter. So then I'm going to come back this way as well. So I've gone all the way around, so I've sort of almost, and then this one, you might see this one a little bit better. See, I'm coming in, I'm going to do that bit, and along there. I'm going to get to the line. I'm coming along the line. I'm going to follow it round. See there, I'm going to go over, because it goes over. And in there, around there. And then when I get to this side, you see, it sort of stops there. Actually, yeah, I'm going to put the line in there because it's quite a big space. So let's put some in there. See, when I get to there then, I can come back onto this side. So it's going around my shape. Like that. So let's bring a tortillon in. I'm going to use a graphite one. I've got a couple here that are nice and clean. See, look at this. Oh, it's not really so clean, maybe. But I was trying to keep a few for my white pencil, if I can, because we always end up with one in there, don't we? No white pencils. I'm going to come down this side as well. Okay. All right. So tortillon there. We'll start here with this point, and it doesn't matter which side you start from. We're going to do the both sort of corners the same way. And I'm going to start with swirling. So notice that my tortillon is quite low down. I'm holding it not too close to the edge, and I can clearly see what I'm doing as I work my way around. And of course, I don't want to fill the whole thing with graphite, so just be careful, because some of them you've got ever such small spaces to work in. So keep your swirls small and light, very light pressure, and follow it round. Now, of course, if you're on one of the tiles, you should be fine, because I know it's going to soften. If you're not, you've got to maybe practice a little bit and see how your paper works first. You see, I've got to sort of come in and do that. I'm trying to leave a little bit of whiteness in there as well if I can, or whatever colour your tile is. And down we come. So we're not so worried about what's underneath all this pencil here, because we're actually going to use it as sort of just a little bit of window dressing for the main event, which is that lovely curvy shape in the middle. So, okay, into this one then. And notice again, I'm keeping it swirls, keeping it tight. I'm not getting carried away with all that graphite. And down we come to that bit. You see how it sort of flows. And it's started to give a nice little bit of definition around that edge there. And along. Okay, so I'm not going to overdo it there. Too much in at all. All right then, so as I said, watercolour pencils. If you're going to use a regular pencil, then you're going to use whatever darkest colour I use. I'll go through it as we are. Now, it's unusual in our watercolours, we do have a couple of greys. I don't know, if you've got a different one, it's fine. But I've got a couple of greys here. One's a warmer grey, the other one's a cooler grey. So it might be worth trying them first. See, so this one's got a little bit of brown in it. Let's go in a bit, okay? That one's sort of number 14. Okay, so it's a very grey, browny colour. Whereas this one, which is number 26, is slightly colder. So if anything, it'd have a bit of blue in it. So that one's a little bit of a colder one. So I'm going to use this one. I'm going to use number 26. And what I thought I would do is I'm going to add some grey. And you think, why are you adding grey watercolour pencil when you could have just done this with graphite? It's because, you know, you can get a slightly different effect from it. So let's give it a go. You see, I'm adding some into these sections here, you know, just on either side. And this might be a good one to try more in. If you put too much graphite on and you want to control it a bit more, then use the grey watercolour pencil and see how you get on with that. It's worth a try, isn't it? Well, we're going to give it a go. So, all right. So that's that bit. Put my greys back. And being that I mentioned sort of blue, let's go with a blue then. What have I got here? Like number 16. And I'm going to add some just on one side. Like that. So one side, and it's sort of coming round a bit. And then this one. Around a bit. Okay, so I'm doing the same, as long as you have the same on both, you know, on each one. It doesn't matter which side you work to. It's entirely up to you. You see, so it's sort of curved. And I'm going to get a little bit on that bottom edge. Okay. So I'm going to bring a little bit of a lighter colour in as well. I really like these turquoisey blues. Number 27. There you go, number 27. And I'm going to add a little bit on the top there. Just a little bit on the top. Okay. So that's good for that. I think just a little bit of green in, which green to go with. I'm going to come with this one, which is number 4. And here, just at the top of those, so you're not going to get much there, just a hint. And again, this is the nice thing with this, because you're almost using the water as your tortillon, because you don't have to blend these like you do with regular pencils. And of course, if you wanted more detail, you can always come in and add more pen over the top. Okay, so a bit of a contrasting colour now. Usually it would be orange, but I think I'm gonna come in with a purpley colour. So maybe pinky purple, magenta-y, 29. So on the bottom of those sort of triangular loops, let's bring a bit of that in. Again, you can use any colour you like, or if you're not using colour, then wherever I've put colour at the minute, that's where you'd be putting your regular graphite pencil. See, just a little bit. Again, you're not trying to colour it in, it's just about adding a little bit of colour in there. Yeah. So just because we can, I'm going to bring in, decisions now. Oh, this one's got to be number 2. Now, what I'm going to do there, right at the bottom, add a little bit in. Oh, and I need to come back and do those, don't I? Getting carried away looking at all these lovely colours. And then suddenly you think, oh, I forgot one. How did that happen? That one. All right. So let's bring those blues back in. Oh, put my purples back in the right place. So, here we are. Colour in. And then it was that sort of lovely turquoisey blue colour, wasn't it? Or was it the lighter or the darker? It was the lighter. Okay, there we go. A little bit of that. Turn it round. And a little bit of that. Okay, so let's have a look at it before we've done any watering. Okay, so we've got that. That's all ready to blend. Now at this point, if you are using just a pencil, you would come in with your tortillon and you'd soften it all off. But being that we're using water, wash your brush out, keep it clean, and then again, like you can see, that's not dripping, you see. If I come in and did this, you see that's too much water for our tile, too much, yeah? So take it off and do a little bit less. You can feel it on the back of your hand. I know it sounds crazy, it's how it works for me anyway. I'm sure you've all got a slightly different variation. What I'm going to do is pull out the colour a little bit. Pull out the colour a little bit. I suppose the thing with this as well, using the grey, again, I'm leaving a little bit of pale in the middle. You're not getting that graphite touch afterwards, so it's not smudging everywhere. So it's got its benefits. So if anybody has questioned why I put grey in with the watercolour set, that's why. You see, you're getting a very similar result there. Oh, I'm going to put a bit in there. Yeah. And of course, you know, the water's working the same way as a tortillon would. It's blending it out. Little bits. And see how it just sort of works its way around. Oh, missed a bit there, look. See, this is it, see, all excited about adding colour. Okay. So you're getting a very similar effect. In fact, there, like, it needs a little bit more water, see, to pull it out. But then once it's dry, it's not going to move like it's not going to come off. So, you know, if you wanted something a little bit cleaner, then that would be the way to go. So I'm going to pull out the colour there. And again, you notice I'm not completely filling the whole thing. I'm pulling it out because those two colours are going to blend. Now you see here, it seems like I'm almost filling it. So if I get rid of anything that's on my brush, clean water, dry it off a little bit, and then I'm going to sort of allow that clean water just to sort of filter onto the ends there, you see? Now they're quite small, so it's quite tricky to see, and I thought we'd try it with this first before we go in to do those sort of little gems. So, you know, keep your brush nice and clean, and you want clean water all the time. But you're not trying to fill the whole thing. You want to fade it out with clean water. Okay, clean water again. Now, let's do this one. So see, I'm pulling the colour out because I've got two colours on there. That means they're going to blend together. Then I'm going to dry my brush off even more. Clean water. I'm just coming in. It's almost like a little blender, isn't it? Because that clean water is literally just taking whatever colour's left and filling it in at the edge there. You see? Rose, it does, doesn't it? I mean, you can get a real smooth finish with a tortillon, but you know, when you're putting a lot on in a small space, it can be a little bit tricky. So this is a good way to have a go as well. And of course you can, like any, you can still draw over the top if you want to. You've just not got to think about the graphite going everywhere. So if you're doing these for cards, then maybe doing them with a bit of watercolour is a sort of a cleaner solution. Although we love our graphite and we love our tortillons, can't live without them. It's nice to have an alternative, especially if you've got no spray to fix it. I know I've missed one there, I'm not going to worry about it. It's right on the edge. I am going to worry about it. You just know I am. You just know it. There you go. As long as it's got a bit of colour, there you go. And it actually doesn't take that much longer, really, once you get into it and you've got the water right by your side and you get the hang of it. It's not so bad at all. As long as you don't dip it in your Prosecco, that's not what you want, is it? So here, look, let's pull this round a little bit. See, it's sort of blending itself, isn't it? There's not much water on my brush there. It's just enough to pull it out. Not even needing any clean water to help with the job there. Let's turn it round to this one. Just giving it a little bit of an encouragement, really. That's not too long at all, is it? There you go. See, I've gone in with water there. Now I've wet my brush again, nice and clean, because I don't want that to be coloured. I want it to be sort of clear. You see how that's worked together? All right, I'm going to do a few of those. So again, clean water, dry it off a bit. Let's merge them colours together, you see? Back in clean water, dry it off a bit, and then I'm adding water here and working those, sort of filtering those colours away, see? Let's do another. Okay, so let's put those together, you see? Now you have to work a little bit quicker because, of course, as you're going and dipping in and out of your water, your piece of artwork is drying. So don't hang about with it, one at a time. You see, I'm doing this one, going back in, clean water, taking it out, then into another. Oh, they're beautiful, aren't they? It's just having that little bit of know-how, isn't it? You see, in there, fresh water, fade it out. Okay, water. Like this, let's have a look. Okay, let's see what we've got there. Okay, see, look at that, how quickly, in a sense. And how they dry. For the most part, yes, they're dry. And of course, if you look at that grey, you know, that's a little bit lighter than my graphite, but you can go in and do another layer if you want. So I think just to finish off then, I'm going to come in with my regular white gel pen. See where we've got the dark, as long as it's dry. Oh, the pen doesn't want to work today. There you go. Just a little bit of a highlight. Sort of on those darker areas. Yeah, it might be that it's a little bit wet still. It's crazy because, you know, when you're in the studio it dries really quickly, and when you're at home it takes a little bit longer. It's just gauging that kind of effect. Yeah, it's a bit wet. Okay, so I've got these ones in here. Let's come back and start at the beginning, add a little bit more on there. We're just sort of dabbing over it. Better. Yeah. So again, you don't have to try and make them all the same. Just give them a little bit of a highlight, see? There you go. And same with this one. Okay. Now if you wanted to, you could come back in and you could add another layer. We could add a touch of a darker blue. I know I've put my highlight in there in a second. Just a little bit around that edge. See, you could, you know, use a regular pencil over the top. You could add cracks in and all sorts of things. Well, I'm not going to go crazy with it. I'm going to add that little bit of darkness there. Okay. Again, once you've picked a side, stick with it. So our main sort of port of call today was this area here. So again, sign it and all done. So, okay, I know a little bit of a tricky one in terms of getting that working, but of course if you watch it over again and get the hang of it, it'll soon be fine. You'll be cracking on without no time. And yeah, all done and sorted. So have a lovely weekend, everybody, and I will catch up with you again next week. So have a good one and see you soon.